All right. Again, greetings. This is the ThaBadbrey Herbal SSR, and I'm back again. And today, I am the ThaBadbrey astrologer. I am also today the ThaBadbrey metaphysician. And I'm going to cover a subject matter which encapsulates astrological terms and practice, as well as a few metaphysical concepts that are extremely useful for your spiritual growth and development. So, let's get down to it. Here we go. So right now, I'm in London, UK. And I know right at this moment, I know right now, that as it's about what, 12:14 in the afternoon, early afternoon. So I know for a fact right now that we are in the planetary hour of Saturn. Saturn rules this hour, okay? From 12:12 this afternoon until 1:02 this afternoon, Saturn rules the hour. I also know that on the horizon right now, on the tropical horizon, Cancer is ascending. So I know that Cancer is ascending, and I also know that we're in the planetary hour of Saturn. It's a Saturnian hour. I also know that the moon at present, yes, is in Scorpio, in the sign of her fall. She does not like being in that sign. Alright? And I also know that the moon is waning. She's losing light. Now, why am I mentioning all these things? I'm doing it because all these things are important. Alright? Very important. If you want to go on to the spiritual path and increase your vibrational frequency and have an understanding of how the universe and the cosmos actually works, you need to become acquainted with astrological principles, planetary energies, and which planetary energies are prevalent at certain times of the day. Okay? So, first of all, let me break down the planetary hours, alright? Before I get into that, the planets themselves, okay, they are actual archetypes of spiritual energies, different metaphysical energies that are around us and within every facet of our lives at all times. And these different facets of our lives, which are different facets of ourselves, manifest in different ways at all times and at different times. Okay? It's all interleaved. Okay? And these archetypes, by becoming acquainted with them, rather than being slaves and reactors to these archetypal energies, we can learn to be in control of them, alright? So, planets, for example, each planet is a different feeling / emotion / metaphysical property, alright? So, just for sake of example, let me break it down in the most basic way I can. The planets themselves, let's go through them. Astrologically speaking, each planet symbolizes something slightly different, a different type of archetypal energy. Now, for example, we know that Jupiter, today is a Thursday, yeah? So, all of today is ruled by the planet Jupiter. Astrologically speaking, Jupiter is a planet that is associated with giving, expansion, charity, gifts, offerings, growth, all of that is Jupiter, okay? So today, on a Thursday, that would be some of the correspondences that you would have to keep in mind of the type of energies that will be prevalent for the whole day, all right? That's Jupiter. Another example is Saturn. Saturn would be the opposite, kind of like the opposite of Jupiter. Jupiter is known as the greater benefic in astrology. He bestows upon you the greatest gifts ever, and everything feels great and wonderful. Whereas Saturn is known as the greater malefic. He takes away from you. Jupiter would be seen as your favorite uncle who comes around, brings you presents, brings you gifts. And then Saturn will be seen as that uncle that comes to your party, sits down, has a conversation with you, and makes you realize all of your failings and realize everything you're doing wrong in your life, and makes you look at what you need to work on and makes you just feel bad, basically. That's Saturn. So astrologically speaking, Saturn is associated with correspondences such as contraction, taking things away, death, limitation, boundaries, order, rules. That's Saturn, all right? Now, Saturn rules the day of Saturday. Saturday is ruled by planet Saturn, all right? So on that day, you can choose to implement things that are to do with rules, boundaries, law, legislation, legal aspects that you might need to deal with, contracts. That's all Saturn, all right? So, back to what I was saying about the planetary energies. All the different planets have different energies, all right? I gave you two examples, Jupiter and Saturn. Yeah? Mars, another planet. Mars is associated with passion, fighting, war, drive, desire. That's all Mars. That's Martian energies. Then you have Venus. Venus is associated with love, creativity, music, children, partying, merrymaking, romance. That's all Venus, all right? They're the correspondences, and each planet has a various set of correspondences, okay? All right? And when you get into medical astrology, you find out each planet rules a different set of minerals and vitamins and different organs, different parts of the body. And then in astrometeorology, different planets govern and have different temperaments and govern the manifestational nature that the weather takes, okay? So, let's get back to the planetary hours. How do you work out the planetary hours? Let me break it down. Breaking down the planetary hours, because if you know which planetary hour is going to be prevalent at a certain time, then you can plan your day around this planetary hour. That's what you can actually do. You can plan to implement certain things that you want to implement according to the correspondences that the planet actually corresponds with, and then plan your day according to that. All right? So, let's give an example. So, today is a Thursday and I'm in London. Now, one thing to remember is that the planetary hours are location specific because they are based upon the time that the sun rises and the time that the sun sets within a given location. All right? And that determines how long a planetary hour is in the daytime and how long a nighttime planetary hour would be. All right? So, example, I'm in London, UK. I know that sunrise where I am at my latitude, 51 north, my latitude in London, UK, yes, sunrise is at 7:11 in the morning. 11 minutes past 7 in the morning is sunrise. All right, in London, where I am, 5151 North. And sunset in the same part of the world where I am right now in London is at exactly 5:17. Okay, 17 hours. 5:17. So what you do to work out the planetary hours is as follows. I'm going to explain it, and maybe I will do, if people want it, I'll do a video actually showing diagrams and explanations and step by step how to actually work out the planetary hours. But back to what I'm saying, I'm going to explain it verbally here. The planetary hours. So in London, 7:11 is sunrise. Yeah? 7:11 in the morning. And 17 hours is sunset. So what you do is you work out how many minutes transpire between sunrise and sunset on a given day. All right? So in this example, 7:11, sunrise. From 7:11 to 5:17 in the evening is what? 606 minutes, all right? 606 minutes. And then, now, what you do after that is you need to break up those 606 minutes of daylight into 12 segments. Yeah? 12 segments. Because in planetary astrology, in ancient astrology, the astrology I deal with, the day is made of 12 hours and the night time is also made of 12 hours. Regardless of whether or not we are in a time of the year when the night time is longer than the day, or vice versa. That is besides the point in astrology. Regardless of what time of year it is, a daytime hours always consist of 12 hours, and nighttime hours always consist of 12 hours. So, back to what I was saying. You have 606 daytime minutes right now from 7:11 to 5:17. All right? So, what do? You divide 606 by 12, and what do we get? 606 divided by 12 is 50.5. 50.5. So, for sake of this example, let's just say 50, yeah? So that tells you that a daytime planetary hour is exactly 50 minutes. Yeah? That's 50 minutes for daytime planetary hour. So, the next thing we do, now that we know that there's 12 segments throughout the day, from 7:11 to 5:17, and that each of these segments consists of 50 minutes, we know that a planetary hour lasts for 50 minutes, all right? So the next thing we do is label each of those 50-minute segments with a planetary ruler. And how we do that is as follows. You label those hours in the order known as the Chaldean order, all right? The Chaldean order is an ancient order of planets, or an ancient way of ordering the planets, according to traditions of Chaldea and according to ancient astrological traditions. And the way it goes is as follows. The Chaldean order is, this is the Chaldean order. Saturn is number 1. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. And then you start again. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Or like I like to say, Sajam Suv Mermu. A nice anagram for you to remember it by. Alright? So Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. That's the Chaldean order. Now, we're still on Thursday, remember. 606 minutes broken into 12 segments, 50 minutes for a planetary hour. All right. So the first hour of the day, so today, 7-11, from 7-11 to 8:01 is the first planetary hour of the day on Thursday. And the first planetary hour of the day is ruled by the same planet that rules over the day. Alright? So since today is Thursday, and Thursday is the day of Jupiter, Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, therefore, the first planetary hour of the day at 7:11 in London, 5151 North latitude, is ruled by Jupiter. So from 7:11 to 8:01 this morning was the hour of Jupiter. Alright? And then from there, that's the first planetary hour. The next planetary hour from that is from 8:01 to 8:51. Going through the Chaldean order, remember, the next planet down from Jupiter is Mars. So from 8:01 to 8:51 is the hour ruled by Mars. Alright? And you keep going down in 50-minute segments, labeling the planets according to the Chaldean order. Alright? All the way down until you get to 5:17. And that's when sunset starts. Daytime planetary hours are 50 minutes each. Where I am right now in London. Alright? You get that? I'm going very slowly so you can understand how to actually do this and take notes if you want to, yeah? So, when you get to sunset, now, you go to sunset, 5:17. By the time you get to sunset, 5:17 should be, from 5:17 onwards, should be ruled by the moon at sunset in this location, alright? However, nighttime planetary hours aren't the same length as daytime planetary hours, alright? And the way you calculate the length of nighttime hours is as follows. All you do, since you already have the daytime period of time which governs a planetary hour by day, which is 50 minutes, yeah? You take 120 and you minus 50 from 120. 120 minus 50 gives you 70, alright? Therefore, 70 minutes is the time period for a nighttime planetary hour. So a nighttime planetary hour is 1 hour and 10 minutes long. Alright? Based upon this location, 5151 North latitude, London, UK. So, you've already worked out the daytime planetary hours, that is 50 minutes for each segment, and you've labeled it according to the Chaldean order. Now you've got to 5:17 at sunset, and 5:17 is ruled by the moon. So, from 5:17, you add an hour and 10 minutes to it. So, yeah, 5:17 to 6:27, according to this location, 5151 North latitude, London, UK. 5:17 to 6:27 is ruled by the moon, okay? We are still on Jupiter today, yeah? Because in astrological terms, in ancient astrological terms, the planet which rules over the day also rules over the night. So today's Thursday, the day of Jupiter, and Jupiter rules over all of the hours from 7:11 in the morning all the way until 7:11 the next morning. Yeah? Astrologically, that's how we take it. So back to what I was saying. From 5:17 to 6:27 is ruled by the moon. Then from 6:27 to 7:37 is ruled by Saturn. Then 7:37 to 8:47 is ruled by Jupiter. And you keep going down through the Chaldean order. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, Sajam, Mermu. Get that in your head, the anagram in your head. Yeah? That's how you work out the planetary hours. And the planetary hours are location specific, remember. It's based upon the time the sun rises and the time the sun sets and the amount of minutes that transpires between those 2 points. That's how you work out the planetary hours. Alright? Now we've explained that, let's get back to the point. Metaphysically speaking, yeah? You can plan your day based upon these planetary hours. Alright? For example, if you want to plan to have a party, you know that Venus rules merrymaking, partying, having fun, creativity, music. You can plan to have your party start during the hour of Venus. Or even start in the hour of Venus and end in the hour of Venus. Yeah? You can do that. If you know you have to go to court and you have a court case coming up and you want the judge to look favorably upon you, you can use the planet of Jupiter. You can elicit something to take place at the hour of Jupiter. Or you can even use the planet of Saturn, because Saturn governs law and legislation, depending upon what outcome you actually want, and depending also upon how Saturn is placed within your natal chart, because we know that Saturn is a malefic planet, usually avoided in electional charts. Alright? But in some circumstances, Saturn can very much be utilized. For example, someone like me, my ascendant is Libra, I'm Libra rising, and I have Saturn in Libra in my first house. Saturn, the planet Saturn, gives me a lot of assistance in anything I've done, be it doing meditation, legal work, studying, invocations, magic, rituals, all of those things. I find that Saturn helps me a lot, which is surprising to a lot of people. All right, so it depends. So you can plan to do things in certain hours of the day that are ruled by certain planets. Yeah. You can even choose, you can elect. For example, if you are in a confrontational business, say for example, you have a competition or you're a boxer and you've got a boxing match coming up. Yeah. You would want to elect a time to start the boxing match or a certain day. But let's get back to the planetary hours. You might choose to start the boxing match during the hour ruled by Mars. Alright? And then you can look at where Mars is in the actual zodiac, what sign Mars is in, whether Mars is in a good position, whether Mars is in its exaltation. Yeah? Or whether he's in his rulership, if Mars is in Aries or if Mars is in Scorpio, in his rulership. Yeah? And you want to avoid days when Mars is in his detriment. For example, you do not want to start a boxing match when Mars is in Libra, because Mars in Libra is in his detriment, has no power to act, can't do anything, doesn't know which way to go, what choices to make, all that kind of thing. Alright? This is why a lot of people who have Mars and Libra in their natal chart, they may find that more often than not, they have trouble in making decisions, especially during a time of crisis. You might say to them, you need to do something. You need to do something about this. This is an emergency. And they're like, I don't know what should I do? What? I'm not sure. What should I do? Mars and Libra. That's what's happening. Mars and Libra is happening. Okay? So you can elect to do certain things when certain planetary hours and planetary energies are actually prevalent around you energetically. Now, the other thing about planetary hours is that everything I found through my observation, that everything in nature is in tune with the planetary hours. Everything. Bar none. Everything. Okay? Now, I do a lot of astrometeorology, which is using astrology to delineate, analyze, and predict weather conditions in various areas of the world. I concentrate on London, the weather in London, okay? And using the ancient astrological aphorisms that are utilized when delineating and analyzing and predicting weather conditions, I found that not only do the aspects that the planets are casting to each other, the signs they're in, the houses they're in, govern and have an effect on the way weather is manifested, but also that the planetary hours have a lot of clout in terms of how the weather actually manifests. Okay? I've done sunrise charts in order to predict the weather for a given day. And I've been able to say, okay, it looks like it's going to rain today, and it looks like there may be some sun. However, when the rain actually comes, or whether the sun is going to come first, whichever one's going to come first, it's usually much harder to predict. However, using the planetary hours, what I found is that as the planetary hours change, come into being, and the energies become more prevalent, the weather manifests according to the type of planet that has come into energetic existence at the time, as well as the condition of the planet at the time that it comes into existence energetically to rule the given hour. Alright? I have actually gone outside with people and said, look, the hour of Mercury is going to happen at 2:02. Mercury governs wind. Due to the position where Mercury actually is, the wind is going to blow in this direction. And we stood there and watched it happen. The birds, the way their flight paths, how they fly, when animals choose to move around and go to certain places or stop, I found that it's largely based upon their instincts, which is tightly locked into the planetary hours. Alright? Now, in ancient times, I believe, based upon no documented evidence whatsoever, based completely upon my own spiritual awareness, I believe in ancient times that every living thing on this planet followed the planetary hours. And that in recent times, we have lost that connection. Which is why human beings are the only ones who you would see who will be completely unaware that a tsunami or some type of natural disaster is going to take place. All the animals would leave long before the tsunami comes. But human beings, we stay there on our iPhones, on our computers, typing away, and all of a sudden we look outside and we're like, what the hell is that? Is that a wave? What? Where are the animals? Huh? Where are the animals? That's what happens. But in ancient times, we were all in tune with these planetary hours and planetary energies. Alright? Now, what a lot of people do, which is very good, something that has survived more than the other ancient astrological ways of being and living, is using the moon to plan when you actually do things. A lot of people follow the moon. Okay? I use the moon in conjunction with the planetary hours, as well as my natal chart, as well as my transits, as well as electional charts, and horary charts, and weather charts, all together, intermingled, to pick and choose when I'm going to do certain things. Alright? People who are actually individuals who are part of so-called secret societies use this science, okay? And the majority of people who are in the world, who are not part of these secret societies, are by and large, mostly, from what I've come across in my experience, by and large, they're mostly completely oblivious and unaware of this. And have lost touch. Alright? So, what I was saying about the moon. If you want to carry out some type of magic, some type of ritual, some type of intention or invocation, you can use the moon. Alright? Some people do a ritual at the full moon. But most people agree in occult circles that the best time to do some type of ritual or magic is, or to carry out any task, where you want to build something, is to carry out this task when the moon is waxing, when she's gaining light, or at the full moon, depending. And if you want to break something down, if you want to end something, if you want something to constrict, get smaller, you would carry out a ritual during the time when the moon is waning, when she's losing light. Alright? Depending. So for example, if you wanted to do some type of affirmation to increase your level of wealth, you do not want to be doing this affirmation or ritual when the moon's waning. Because the moon is a co-significator of money or wealth, okay? The moon controls the current, currency, month, monthly salary, moon, money. The moon is metaphysically connected to money. Alright? So if you're doing some type of affirmation when the moon's waning, what you'll find is that you're just doing an affirmation to make your money decrease. And what you want is to do an affirmation when the moon is waxing, when it's increasing in light. Alright? There's so much that can be talked about in terms of electing the best auspicious moment to do something based upon the movement of the moon and the phase of the moon. And there's different astrological rules that you can apply to it. Alright? In conjunction with the planetary hours that I explained. Alright? So, with that said, you know how to do planetary hours now. You know how to calculate it. And for your given location. And you should be able to go with that from there. Have any questions? Leave it in the comment box. Message me. Email me. And I'll be back to explain a few other things. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that. ThaBadbrey Ancient Astrologer and Metaphysician. See you next time, man. ThaBadbrey Herbal.co.uk.